intermolecular forces. What are the things that you are going to learn? First, the type of intermolecular forces. And then, what are the factors influence the strength of the van der Waals forces, and the effect of hydrogen bond. Okay. So inilah dia punya learning outcome that you have to learn. This one, intramolecular forces and intermolecular forces. Intra and inter. What is the difference? Saya ada 6 towel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 3 blue towel label hydrogen and the other 3 pink towel label chlorine. So let's say I want to combine 1 blue towel with 1 pink towel. So I need a thread and a needle. Nak combine dia kena jahit lah. Jahit kat sini. So bila dah dijahit, so dia akan dapat 3 pieces. Become 3 pieces of towel that combine. Okay, let's say between the 3 pieces of towel here, okay, so saya letak velcro tape. Right, so in between the 3 towels, saya letak velcro tape. So it will look like this. Maksudnya it can combine all the 3 pieces of towel. Kan? Alright, so next, if I pull out, saya tarik kiri, tarik kanan, what happen? So what happen next is become the original position lah, like the 3 pieces of towel. So what is meaning by here? So meaning that, so yang kita jahit tu, that is refer to the covalent bond. Yeah. So maksudnya yang kita jahit tu, this is represent the covalent bond. So covalent bond is one of the example of intramolecular forces. Intra maksudnya dalam molekul tu, what are the forces form? For this example, this is covalent bond lah. Since it involves sharing of electron. Okay, and then it involves non-metal. Right, so the velcro tape here, this one is represent the intermolecular forces. Molecular forces. So which mean when the molecule are close together, so the intermolecular forces will exist. So all the molecule they akan held together like this lah. However, if the molecule is far apart, kita tarik kan, so dia akan back to normal. Jadi 3 molekul macam ni. So meaning that conclusion here, as for the covalent bond here is a permanent forces. Maksudnya dia kekal. Kalau kita tengok, kalau kita tarik velcro tape tu, dia masih ada, remain juga. Bila dia form intermolecular force, dia masih ada. Kalau kita tarik velcro tape ni pun, dia masih ada juga. Itu maksudnya intramolecular forces. Dia kekal. However, untuk intermolecular forces, dia bersifat sementara, temporary. Kalau dia close together, then dia akan form intermolecular force. It's far apart, there is no intermolecular force. So now, the overview about this topic. So yang ini, you can look at this one. Ni. Right, so this is the overview of this whole topic. Okay. Right, so for example, like HCl just now, so the covalent bond is one of example of intramolecular forces. So we can define intramolecular forces as attractive force that held atom together within a molecule. So dia nak form bond, then form molecule, so dia needs forces. The forces is referred to intramolecular forces. So for the under intramolecular forces is divided into 3 that is referred to metallic bonding, ionic bond and covalent bond. So ionic bond and covalent bond we already learned from the previous lesson. What's the meaning by metallic bonding? Okay. So it's referring to the attraction of mobile electron. Maksudnya mobile electron ni free electron. So we can see like a sea of electron and the positively charged metal ion. So maksudnya berlaku pada dalam metal ion lah. Ionic bond we already known is formed when metal atom donate electron to non-metal atom. Okay. Next, covalent bond is referring to the share of electron between non-metal atom. Under covalent bond is divided into three. That is referred to the active bond, polar covalent bond. So we already discovered from drawing the Lewis structure topic molecular polarity kan, kita dah belajar kat situ. And then also non-polar, ni pun topik molecular polarity. Right, so between metallic bond, ionic bond and covalent bond, the strongest bond is referring to metallic bond. Metallic bond is the strongest, followed by ionic bond, and the lowest become the covalent bond. The weakest bond is covalent bond. Okay, right. So this is for the intramolecular forces. When we compare the strength of forces between intramolecular forces and intermolecular forces, so intra would have stronger. Kalau kita compare, dia lebih strong compared to intermolecular forces. So what is the meaning by intermolecular forces? So intermolecular forces is referring to the attractive force that exists between the molecule. Let's say we have HCl molecule right here. So we have HCl and HCl. When we close the HCl together, bila kita rapatkan dia, so there is a forces that arise between the molecule. That is called intermolecular forces, antara molekul. Right, so it's divided into three. That is hydrogen bond, okay, and then van der Waals forces. So van der Waals forces is referring to the attractive force that exists between neutral molecule. Alright, so it's divided into three. We have dipole forces and London dispersion forces. So kita tengok apa maksud dia. We start with dipole forces. So dipole forces means the forces arise from attraction of the permanently positive and negative end of a neutral polar molecule. Okay, so nanti kita tengok lepas ni sekarang untuk definition ni sahaja. Okay, London dispersion forces, kata weak temporary forces of attraction that occur between non-polar molecule. So kita boleh buat conclusion kat sini, keyword yang perlu awak faham kat sini. Dia kata sini untuk neutral polar molecule. Okay, and then dipole ni berlaku antara permanent positive and negative end. Okay, so untuk London ni pula dia punya keyword dia weak temporary forces. Maksudnya dia sementara je ni forces ni, dan berlaku dekat non-polar molecule. Okay, so when we comparing the strength of these three intermolecular forces, okay, hydrogen bond would be is the strongest, followed by dipole forces, and the weakest is London dispersion forces. So kalau kita combine semua kan, so yang paling kuat mestilah intramolecular forces, meaning that the sequence would be like this: metallic bonding, followed by ionic bond, next covalent bond, next covalent bond is stronger than hydrogen bond, followed by dipole forces and London dispersion forces. So ini dia punya sequence dia. So decreasing order. Okay, decreasing order. Okay, next for this topic, also you have to learn about the effect on hydrogen bond, that is referred to boiling point, solubility and density. Okay, as for the van der Waals forces, you have to know about factors that affect the strength. So it's referring to molecular size, polarity and also the shape. Dipole forces is about the forces that arise from the attraction of the permanently positive and negative end of a neutral polar molecule. So kita tengok contoh ni. Let's say HCl tadi kan. Bond ini is referring to the covalent bond. Kan? So covalent bond is under intramolecular forces. So between these two molecules, so it will form intermolecular forces, that is referring to dipole-dipole forces or dipole-dipole interaction. Macam mana dia boleh dapat kat sini? So kita tengok, it should be the negative end. Ini permanent Sini memang permanent negatif. Selama-lamanya negatif sebab dia more electronegative untuk Cl. Whereas for the hydrogen is more electropositive. So permanently positive charge. Jadi the forces arise between these two. Antara partially positive or the other end with the positive charge of the other end. Dia ada molekul lah, antara molekul. Sini saya highlightkan dia ni. Okay, boleh? Alright, so we take a look at our tutorial. Kata, what are dipole-dipole forces? So what are here means we have to give the definition lah yang tadi tu . How do polar molecule attract each one another? So we can see from this diagram. So how that the dipole-dipole forces arise? So it is formed between the negatively charged of one molecule and with the positively charged of the other molecule. And the molecule should be close together in order to form dipole-dipole forces. So kita nak masuk London forces. Tengok balik dia punya definition. Dia kata apa? Is a weak temporary forces of attraction that occur between non-polar molecule. Maksudnya kat sini dia berlaku pada non-polar molecule. So kita contoh. Let's say saya ada Cl2 molecule. So the bond between Cl molecule is covalent bond, non-polar covalent bond. So we have already learned from previous lesson, if the atom have the same electronegativity, so the bond formed here is non-polar bond and the whole compound is non-polar molecule. Jadi antara sini, antara Cl dengan Cl tu ada juga forces dia. Kita namakan dia London dispersion forces. Okay, how do you know why we call it London? Ni sempena nama saintis dia. Ahli fizik. German born American physics Fritz London. So maksudnya dia ambil nama dia London. Okay, so this one dia dah jumpa lama dah London dispersion forces ni. Tahun 1928. Lama dah ni. Alright, so macam mana forces London dispersion forces ni boleh berlaku di sini sebab kalau kita tengok yang dipole-dipole forces, dia mesti antara positive N dengan negative N. However, untuk Cl molecule ni dia tak ada positive N, dia tak ada negative N kan. So macam mana boleh ada attraction? Alright, so first of all, kalau kita lukis balik Cl yang neutral sini kan. So Cl ni neutral, meaning that kalau kita illustrate the distribution of electron, it should be equal. Dia punya distribution electron dia sama. Saya lukis macam ni lah, sama banyak ini. Okay, so ini yang secara general macam ni. So sometimes the Cl molecule it will collide with other molecule. Let's say tiba-tiba dia collide tu dengan H plus kat sini. Tiba ada ion ataupun dengan cation ataupun dia langgar dengan anion kan. So what happen? So when they collide here, collide kat sini, what happen? So since yang dia collide tu with less electron kan, cation kan less electron, cation less electron kan. What happen? So sini elektron dekat sini dia sama banyak. So bila dia dah berlanggar, dia collide, what happen? So sebab kawasan sini more electropositive, partially positive. Jadi elektron ni semua lari ke arah kawasan sini. Dia maksudnya elektron tadi akan attracted to the cation. What happen to the distribution of electron? Electron cloud dia ni. Sama macam ni ke ataupun dia akan berubah? What happen?
Is the same.
Stay the same. Okay. So now yang dia langgar tu positive ion. Jadi negative ion akan tertarik dengan positif kan. Jadi semua akan lari ke arah sini. Jadi kita akan nampak dia sini gemuk macam ni. Kawasan sini jadi kurus macam ni. Kurang macam ni lah. Jadi elektron tu banyak berada kat sini. Sebab sini positif, sini negatif, dia akan tertarik dengan positif kan. So elektron akan berpindah kat sini. So sini akan jadi sikit saja. Okay. So because of this, this side at the left side it become partially positive. Okay. And the right side become partially negative, which means the electron distribution become unequal. Sebelum ni dia neutral, dia equal macam ni. So bila dia langgar dengan something, let's say yang positive charge, so dia akan jadi right side become partially negative, which means rich in electron. Okay, rich in electron. Whereas for this one, partially positive, meaning that poor in electron. Okay, maksudnya dia punya distribution of electron become unequal. What happen next? Let's say dia kan bebas bergerak kan. So dia pun langgar collide with the other molecule. Cl molecule macam ni. Okay, Cl molecule kawan dia ni neutral. Dia neutral macam ni. Kan? Asalnya dia neutral macam ni. So what happen? So dia akan induce. Dia akan induce the neighboring molecule to become like this. Maksudnya dia akan daripada neutral ni, dia akan jadi, sebab ni kawasan dia partially negatif. Jadi negatif dan negatif, sini pun ada elektron kan. So elektron dengan elektron dia akan berlaku repulsion, semua lari, semua akan pindah ke arah kanan. Right, so what happen next? Okay, so yang ini pun dia akan dapat sama charge dia akan ada charge. So dia akan jadi macam ni. Ni kawasan yang per elektron, rich in electron. Okay, what happen to the other molecule? Alright, so dia akan jadi macam ni. Sini kurang elektron, sini akan jadi banyak elektron. Sebab elektron dengan elektron akan berlaku repulsion, jadi semua lari ke sini. Sini sikit, sini sikit, sini banyak. So this is partially positive, this is partially negative. Partially positive, partially negative. So when they close together, baru dia dapat macam ni. Gua akan dapat macam ada charge ni. So this interaction is what we call London dispersion process. Usually kita akan lukis the dotted line sini lah, which represent the intermolecular process. So this is London dispersion process. So when they close together, then the London dispersion process will arise. However, if the molecule split, maksudnya dia jauh, ini pergi kanan, ini boleh pergi ke kiri, ini pergi ke kanan. So what happen? Ini ke kiri, ini pergi kanan. So what happen? Yang London dispersion process ni dah tak ada lah. So dia tak form dah. Dia mesti dekat baru ada. So hydrogen bond ni maksudnya dipole-dipole interaction between the hydrogen atom in a polar bond. So keyword here dia ada mention polar bond kan. Dia kata polar bond. Polar bond means ada 3. NH, OH or FH. And negatively charged electronegative atom, FON. And another molecule. So maksudnya hydrogen bond ni juga berlaku pada polar molecule lah. Okay. Tapi dia special daripada dipole ni sebab dia ada syarat dia. Dia mesti ada F, mesti ada O, mesti ada N. Setiap satu FON ni mesti attach dengan H. Baru dia boleh form hydrogen bond. Okay. So the first example is H2O. So antara H2O dengan H2O, so dia boleh form hydrogen bond. Why? Okay, sini dia ada oksigen kan? FON, kalau intermolecular hydrogen bond mesti ada FON. So dah ada dah. O ni pula dia attach pada H. Lepas tu yang ni kalau dia nak buat bond, nak buat hydrogen bond mesti dengan H. Dia tak boleh dengan O. Sebab apa? O ni partially negatif. O ni pun partially negatif. Negatif-negatif tak boleh lah buat bond. Dia mesti antara yang partially negatif sama ada FON tadi. Dan FON tu sendiri dia mesti attach dengan H. Okay, and then kalau sini O, kita boleh buat bond, hydrogen bond tu dengan H of the ideal molecule yang ada juga FON. Macam ni O lah. Macam ni. So ini kita panggil dia hydrogen bond. Okay, kita tengok contoh lain. Let's say HF molecule. So sini dia ada F. Lepas tu yang F tu sendiri dia ada H attach kat dia. Ni. Kan, so ini akan jadi positif. Okay. Alright, next kalau dia nak form hydrogen bond, dia mesti berlaku dengan partially negative of the other molecule yang dalam golongan ini juga. Macam ni dengan F lah. Dengan F. So yang bond yang form kat sini adalah what we call hydrogen bond. So you have to show it dotted line because this is intermolecular process. Okay. Tengok lagi contoh lain. Let's say ammonia. So kita nampak kan nitrogen tadi ada dalam kalangan HON. Okay, cukup syarat. Lepas tu nitrogen pun attach pada H. Okay. And then this is what we call partially negative. Yang ni partially negative lah. Okay. Bila nak buat hydrogen bond, dia mesti dengan partially positif. Maksudnya dengan hydrogen. Hydrogen tu pun mesti attach dengan N. Mesti attach dengan N macam ni. So, kita lukis dotted line to show the hydrogen bond. Okay, selain daripada yang contoh-contoh yang simple macam ni, berlaku juga dalam compound yang lain. Contoh antara carboxylic dengan carboxylic. Ni antara carboxylic acid. Kat mana macam mana kita nak lukis dia punya bond, hydrogen bond tu. So sini kita ada O kan, sini ada O kan. Okay, sini ada O. Lepas tu O tu attach dengan H. Jadi H ni tadi boleh form hydrogen bond dengan carboxylic acid yang lain yang O. Mesti antara partially positif dengan partially negatif. So ni satu hydrogen bond. Boleh form lagi satu kat atas ni. Ni ada O. Lepas tu dia boleh, this is partially negative, dia boleh form dengan partially positive of hydrogen of the other carboxylic acid. Yang ni pun kita panggil dia hydrogen bond. Ni. Ni contoh-contoh lah bagi awak faham ya. Hydrogen bond. Okay, contoh lain, let's say saya ambil alkohol dengan alkohol. Contoh etanol. Etanol ni adalah sejenis alkohol. Okay, right. So dalam struktur alkohol dia ada OH group. Dia ada OH group. So yang the black color here represent carbon, ni carbon. Yang warna putih ni hydrogen. Warna merah ni carbon. Jadi sini O, sini H. Ni OH group. Ni kawasan OH group. Jadi kat mana berlakunya hydrogen bond? Kita tengok balik. Okay, so kat sini sini oksigen ni oksigen juga. So dia is partially negative. Ni partially positif. Kalau nak buat hydrogen bond mesti dengan partially negative O. O pun attach dengan H. Syarat dia. OH, OH macam tu. Sini partially negative positif. Sini ada partially negative oksigen. Lepas tu sini ada oksigen tadi. Dan oksigen tadi attach pada H. Inilah berlakunya hydrogen bond. Sini hydrogen bond. Sini pun hydrogen bond. H bond. Okay, boleh Okay, so ini contoh lain juga. Ini H2O tadi. So cuma nak tunjuk kat sini. Dalam one H2O molecule, it can form how many hydrogen bond? So ni dia punya H2O, one H2O molecule here. Ni structure ni. So there are 4 hydrogen bond. So yang warna merah ni, yang dotted line here is refer to the hydrogen bond. Alright, so now, okay, so this is why you have to learn about hydrogen bond here because it's very close to us. So, kenapa close to us? Dia ada dalam you all punya, kita semua punya DNA. Okay? Okay? Dalam DNA kita sendiri pun ada hydrogen bond. Dalam kita punya body pun ada ada hydrogen bond. Ni structure of DNA. So sini pun ada konsep of covalent bond. So maksudnya bio dengan chemistry ni tak boleh berpisah lah. Kadang-kadang dia akan ada juga. So yang ini adalah dia punya covalent bond. So yang ini is referring to the base. So ingat lagi apa nama base ni? Saja nak tanya. A ni stand for what?
Adenine.
A adenine. T apa?
Thymine.
G?
Guanine.
C?
Cytosine.
So this bases is connected by hydrogen bond. Jadi maksudnya yang dotted line here is represent the hydrogen bond.